It's so good to see you. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so excited to be doing this session. I'm just gonna spotlight me so that we can, hopefully, you can all see. And I know that a lot of people are going to be watching the recording in the future. So I'll be inviting people to, in the future, to write things, share things, say things as we continue through the journey today. Let's let Angela in. So welcome, welcome. While we're waiting for a couple more people to come in, go ahead and write in the chat box and say hello and where you are today and where you are at in your life and what you're ready to release today, what you're ready to change today. I'm going to be asking you that a few times today because even though we're diving into the past, I want today's session to be as much about the service of the present moment. It's more about the service of the present than it is about hanging on. It's the opposite to hanging on to the past. It's about releasing from the past so that you can heal and change and shift and evolve and expand into your highest potential. So if that sounds good, write a heck yes in the comments. And we'll dive in a moment. So I'll give it a couple more minutes to see who else needs to come into the call. And then we can begin. Oh, where's the chat box? Excellent. So heck yes, says Angela. Awesome start. Absolutely a heck yes. This is so much about the shifting and healing and clearing rather than being about holding on to old mindsets, old energy, old lives, old blocks. Katerina is here just to explore no specific goals. Oh, this is great. So for you, Katerina, I'd say as I encourage you to write some things and journal, see what comes up. Just note what comes up in the moment and what it is that your subconscious mind knows you need to shift and clear yet, because your subconscious always knows what to clear next. You don't need to worry about any of this stuff. Your subconscious will guide you on what you need to release and clear and shift and heal and transform. So much of this work is about getting out of the story. Ironically, because in the title there's the word story. This is about releasing yourself from stories so that you can really get unblocked in your energy, in your self-expression, in your life. Yes, Lisa, feeling blocked and held back by fear. So aspects of life, so many aspects of life, perhaps. Yes, Cass is here. She's in North Devon, like me. Well, I'm East Devon, and she's ready to release internalized tension. This is great. Really, really good. And the more you write these things, the more your subconscious mind will recognize what needs to shift and clear for you to do that. So either, even though you're on mute, you can vocalize it out loud just so you're sending it out there, or write it down, because the more you do this, the more you send a message to your subconscious mind that you're ready to change. Because this is no longer about holding yourself onto those old stories and patterns, So yes, Arpan, it's so good to see you again, and really, really happy to have you as part of this group. And yes, looking forward to exploring possibilities. This is everything. Oh my gosh, I feel so excited to be doing this. Yes, Angela, trauma to release and heal along the way. Excellent, excellent. This is what we're here for. So one of the things I've learned I'm very, very skilled at and is holding space for you to shift and clear and change these things so that you can come back to the truth of who you are, your self-expression. And so this workshop is designed to help you do exactly that. It's to help you show up, trust yourself, love being seen, love being heard, and really engage with the truth of who you are so that you can have success in the things that you want to focus on moving forward. So exciting. So my purpose here in this lifetime is to show you how to identify the patterns that lead to failure and limitation and blocks and things that have been holding you down, holding you back, and to guide you into dehypnotizing yourself from the programming, the stuck records, if you like, that have been playing in your mind, because they're not really who you are. You are you underneath all this programming, this conditioning. And most hypnotherapy is about releasing yourself from this current lifetime of conditioning. But what we're doing today is we're releasing you, focusing on releasing from past lives, from ancestral wounds, and all sorts of other stuff, which we'll dive into in a moment. So, and those of you, I feel so connected and aligned being with you here right now. And those of you watching in the future know that time is just a construct, right? And so this work is always present for you again and again. And there's something really, just got tingles again. There's just something so powerful about meeting in a group, in a collective. So there's a really, really good book called The Power of Eight. I think it's by Lynn McTaggart, and she talks about the collective and how powerful this work is when we start meeting in communities, meeting in groups. And I've realized with the one-to-one work I do, I love, there's just been this little missing link in the community that I've been wanting to create. So that's why I'm wanting to bring us together more and more to create this. So with all of that in mind, I want you to start by connecting right now to your desire to express yourself in your way, your truth, your identity, your self-expression. I want you to take a moment, you can close your eyes if you like, to really connect to what it is that you feel you're ready to release right now, so that you can show up, be seen, be heard as a voice user or a business owner, as a creative, as a musician, as a change maker, as an inspirer. I love using the word inspirer because I think we're all inspirers in our personal way. So connect to your desire for this and write down in the chat box what the feelings are that you want. Is it a deeper connection with my inner voice, my inner truth? Do I want to trust myself more? In which case, write down trust of self. And if you're watching in the future, write this in your journal. Tapping into our deepest inner voice. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want to feel safe being seen and heard. I want to show up in a conversation and not feel like I'm going into fight-flight response, because that's what may have happened in the past. I want to be able to show up and have a conversation and feel grounded and aligned and truthful and safe to share my voice. And I promise you, if I can learn to do that, then you can too. And the reason I share that is because I've had my own set of, I can safely say, traumas that did shut down my voice. And this is why I'm drawn to this work, because I know that these changes are incredibly powerful. So with that in mind, if you don't know me, if you haven't met me yet, and this is our first call together, then I'm a hypnotherapist with many, many years background in the professional voice industry, well, performance and theatre industry specifically, teaching speech and singing. And now I train minds and deeper soul work, because we can unlock the voice, our self-expression, much more powerfully that way. So that's why I now do what I do. Because when you change your mind and your energy and your emotions, the fears in the subconscious mind can be released much, much more quickly. We can't do it with willpower. It just doesn't work, because that lives in the conscious part of the brain. So yeah, that's what we do now. Yes, I love this. You want to feel to release your inner judgmental side. Now, where's my notebook? I'm going to keep track of some of these things and write them down, because I want to be able to tune in to what's needed during the session. And I process by writing things down. So keep writing in the chat box or writing in your journal as I do this. So inner judgmental side. Oh, the inner judge. That's a juicy one. And yeah, I love working with the inner judge. Love, love, love it. Yes, Caroline, you want to feel joy and happiness and be seen. Joy, happiness, and be seen. You want to be heard, Lisa. and not worry about what will come back from that, as well as tapping into your essential creativity. Yes, this is good. And notice how it feels just to write this thing down. So writing down what you want and the positive and beneficial feelings can have an enormous impact on the subconscious mind, because you're strengthening the neural pathways in your brain of the thing you want to have, rather than fixating on what you don't want. Because the more we fixate on what we don't want, the more we get more of it. It's just how the brain is wired and how the system works. And if you go deeper into things like quantum physics, it's just what we attract more of. So this is about bringing into your state the feelings, sensations, behaviors that you do want. And that's why I'll ask you again and again, what is it you do want? So yeah, you want to be heard, you want to be tapped in to your essential creativity. Feel safe without feel safe being authentic without judgment, and start using your voice online. Yes, this is juicy. Lisa, I want to feel calm so I can share my voice. Yes. Yes, it's brilliant, brilliant. Katerina, I want to be able to express myself without doubting myself. Brilliant. Doubting myself throughout the process. I want to feel open. I want to feel creative. Cass, I want to be totally at ease in my body. Angela, I have a humiliation thing going on as well. I have a fear around being humiliated. So you want to release that and be free and fearless. You want to feel safe. Oh, no, I play safe. Okay, so you want the opposite of that. You want to be free and fearless. Great. Okay. Ooh, I can feel that already. Good. I can feel the release that's coming. So good. Okay. So what I want you to do now is take a lovely deep breath. And as I see all these other things coming in, I'm going to integrate everything that you're saying as we work. Take a deep breath. Breathe into all the feelings that have come up as you've written these things, and maybe said them out loud as well, because that's very, very powerful. And recognize that you've brought yourself here. You've been called to this work right here, right now, today, because you're ready to be present, both mind and body, spirit, so that you can receive. So allow yourself to receive today. This is for you. And yes, we're doing it for the collective. We're doing it for everyone. But this is all about you right now, your stuff, because we can't heal and change the wounds of other people. We can only heal and change our wounds. And by doing so, that may shine a light on other people's stuff or not. Either way, we do our work. So I want you to allow yourself to set the intention to be in receiving mode, to be guided, held, and supported as I guide you through this journey, so that you can come back to the truth of you, the truth of who you are, and release some of those layers of conditioning. So as you'll hear me say many, many times, and feel free to have your eyes closed or open while I talk, the level of transformation in this work is very much up to you. And I'll say that quite frequently. I'm the guide, you're the explorer. And the more you allow the transformation to come into your awareness and your system, the more transformation you're going to experience. So this is the time to transform, shake off those old patterns and stories. You know, you can feel it, you know it's right here. This is why you're here. So go ahead and sit into your hips. To quote my teacher, sit in your hips and pelvis. And that's where you activate your desires, your root, your sacral area. This is where we ground ourselves and connect to our creativity and our desires. I want you to bring all of this to the surface and notice what's blocking them too. And again, don't get tied up in any stories right now. I just want you to sit into your hips and pelvis and notice what sensations and feelings, or even sentences, belief systems, all the stuff. Notice what's coming up, what's coming through, knowing that your subconscious mind knows what to release because you're shining a light on it. So I want you to actually, interestingly, I want you to send gratitude to those blocks, to those fears, because they may have kept you safe up until now. And now it's time to release them, to move forwards in your life and lifetimes. So set the intention now to allow your subconscious mind to guide you on this journey today. Ask your unconscious mind to give you what you need so that you can listen, hear, feel, see, connect with, and release the things that you need to release so that you can get your self-validation back, because you were always meant to have a self-validation. You were always meant to have your self-expression. It's always been yours. So today is not about giving yourself something, sticking something on you. It's about peeling away the programs and conditions so that you can get your voice back. So set the intention that you have the release that you're meant to experience today for your highest and greatest good. And then hold this powerful intention in your mind, in your body, in your system, to honor your self-expression from this day forwards in all of your you-ness. How does it feel to own your self-expression? Imagine owning your voice. Imagine owning your creativity. Imagine feeling authentic and congruent and creative in all your interactions to make lives better. You know, imagine feeling so connected to your inner truth that you are able to express yourself so powerfully that the shifts that happen around you as a result happen, but you have zero attachment to those things because you know that all you can do is honor your truth. So you can trust your intuitive inner voice. And notice if there are limitations as you keep your eyes closed and tune in. If there are fears and resistances coming up, notice those, send them some love, send them some gratitude. They may not even be from this lifetime. They're probably not yours, but they may have kept you safe or not. So just notice what they are and recognize that the more you shine a light on them, the more you shine a light on those shadows, the more they can start to release and clear and transform right before your eyes. And if you're not a visual person, then right around you, right inside you, you may hear them transform, you may see them transform, you may feel them transform. Everyone processes this information differently. Good. Then open your eyes, take a nice deep breath, and know that I would suggest most of us have some kind of story around staying small. Even if it's in this lifetime, you know, ask nicely for that chocolate biscuit, or don't scream, don't cry, don't shout, don't have feelings. You know, how many times are children told turn that frown upside down and smile and be happy when they're not feeling it? And so these neural pathways that have been sown in our mind in this current lifetime, let alone in the past experiences, this is what we're changing. You know, fear of messing up, fear of getting hurt. Past lives may have been a servant or a slave. And I released one recently around being a slave and having my voice, having no voice at all, not being able to say or speak or sing anything. Political situations in the past, many decades, centuries of women being oppressed and not being able to have a voice. A lot of clients I've worked with have been burned at the stake for being a witch, or hung for being a misunderstood healer. That's happened for some people. And the reason I'm saying these things is I don't want to make any suggestions to you, because what will come up for you is going to be 100% personal to you. But there are many times in the past there have been political situations where we've had to stay small. So if that's something that comes through for you, great, work with that. And if it's something completely different, then great, work with that. Work with what comes up for you. So here's something controversial. These, and some of you will get this, some of you won't. Some of you may love this, some of you may be triggered by this. But from what I understand, in my knowledge, in my experience, we signed up for certain experiences. Our soul signed up for certain experiences for life, for this particular lifetime, in order for us to change, heal, perhaps play out karmic patterns, perhaps resolve soul contracts that we had with someone. What's great with this work is that you can retain the lessons and release the baggage. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into deep relaxation. I'll guide you into it. And what's lovely is that it doesn't really matter if you go into a light state of hypnosis where you focus on every word I say, and while the conscious mind just wanders and drifts and floats, or if you go into a really deep relaxation where my words just wash through you, and you may find yourself going kind of deep and lighter and deeper and lighter during the session. That's very normal. And you'll notice me regularly counting you down. And in this, we're going to go back to a happy childhood memory. And then we're going to go back to the womb. From there, we're going to do some work. And again, always have plans, but I always work intuitively as well. So we may find that something else unfolds for you. So I'm going to tune into what is needed collectively today. We're going to give back or work with giving stuff back to ancestors. And then we're going to receive some guidance, allow that to come through in whatever way works for you. And I'll guide you through that. And then we're going to go back to a past life. So like I said, many things can come up, guidance, downloads, insights, aha moments. I'll encourage you to keep your eyes closed for the whole session because I want you to stay deep. Having said that, I'm exploring more and more, like I did with my 7-day download recording that many of you have listened to. I'm exploring this idea of staying in deep trance while picking up a pen and just writing something very, very brief down and then diving back in. Now, if you choose to do that, I'm not going to stop you, but what I just ask is that you consciously then choose to go back in. And what's great about hypnosis is that if you come out of hypnosis and then you go back in, your brain is actually hardwired to go deeper the second time. It's simply how the brain works. So, and that's why if anyone's ever kind of snapped out of it in a hypnotherapy session, I'll always say, great, fantastic, this is a bonus. Let's now go deeper. It's simply how the brain works. So yeah, we're doing this for you, but we're also doing it for the people we love. And I kind of think for all humanity. I get really emotional saying that. I don't know about you, but I think we're really lifting everyone up with this work, not in a pressure way, because you'll do what you're meant to do right now at your stage of life. You'll get what you're meant to receive. So, that was a lot of me talking. I have a strong throat chakra, a locked throat chakra in human design, which means I'm all about voice, expression, truth. And so I'm learning to share without adding filler in. That's my task at the moment, to share without needing to fill the space. Having said that, I will talk a lot, and that is because every word I say, I'm using hypnotic language to guide you to the results you want. So I'm using conversational hypnosis, which is ethical because you're never going to be hypnotized into anything you don't want. You'll only ever take on what you want. I use a lot of that work in my speech at the same time. Good. So I'd like you to start by, I'm going to rattle through these questions quite quickly because I don't want you to get in your head about it. I want you to just notice what comes through. We've already talked a little bit about what you want for the outcome. If anything else has come up while I've been speaking, go ahead and write that down in a journal rather than in the chat, unless something really big comes into the chat that you really want to share with everyone. Write this down in your journal. So the first question, which we've covered already, is what your desired outcome is for right now. Release, relief, a sense of gratitude. For me right now, I'm really working on allowing a sense of gratitude all the time rather than waves of gratitude. So that's what I'm working on. And showing up in my work, because when I show up, my clients show up more. And when I do this work, my clients do the work on themselves more. So that's what I'm really working on. And again, take as long as you like right now, but I'm actually not going to give you that much time because I want you to stay out of your head and in your intuition while you write these things down. And then notice if there's anything that you struggle with that doesn't have a clear explanation. For example, phobias or pain. And just note it, a couple of words. And then ask yourself, are there any relationships that you'd like to understand more deeply, to investigate? So just a couple of names if that comes through. And sometimes it's not at all. Some people meet someone in a past life that's in their current life. Sometimes we don't at all. I've had many past lives where I've looked at people and gone, no, I don't know anyone. So that's normal too, Are there any abilities or skills or talents that you'd like to return to and bring forwards? For example, I recently visited somewhere in the Midwest in the US, and I was a businessman. a very portly businessman in 18 something or other. I had the most epic moustache you've ever seen. Quite portly, quite jolly, but also very, very good business owner, and all, but also very kind. You know, not stuck up or snobby, but just really grounded, really good business owner. And it taught me things I needed to access in myself that I hadn't been that I'd been telling stories about myself about being a business owner that were not serving me. And so my subconscious mind showed me this lifetime in order to show me skills that I was able to tap into, you know? So that was really fun. That was really cool. Yeah, and if there's any particular part of the world or time you're drawn to, feel free to write it down. You may be completely open. Sometimes I say I'm completely open, and sometimes I'll say, oh, I've got a real fascination with this particular place right now. Know that you might not necessarily go back to there. And as you may have seen in some of my emails, that I'm just going to blow out my candle a moment. My oil burner is literally boiling. So yeah, you might find yourself going back to somewhere completely different to what you expect. So keep an open mind as to what comes through for you, because your subconscious is going to give you the stories that you need to experience right now in order to release and shift and change. So yes, you'll get what you need, not what you want. And this work, as you know, is not mind control. There's no blackout. You are fully in control at all times, and you're not going to take on any suggestions unless they're aligned for you. You know, I can't possibly give you anything that you don't want to take on. So you're safe, you're in control. Some people feel very, very heavy when they go in. Some people feel so light and free. Some people spin out a little bit. It feels a bit kind of woozy. Some people get tingling. I feel a real energy shift. I start yawning like crazy. Some people burp. Some people get nothing at all. You know, it's very, very personal to you. Some people really intensely experience feelings and things. Some people just know it's happening, but they don't have full on experience. So it's very, very personal. For me, I tend to hear. I'm quite clairaudient in that respect, and see. It's quite visual, clairvoyant, I think that is the word. But in terms of feeling, and I'm quite kinesthetic in terms of spaciousness, but in terms of actually feeling, I'll feel sort of an energy shift often. But these are skills I'm honing more and more the more I do this work. So the reason I share that with you is there are certain aspects, feelings I don't get smells or tastes. Actually, I'm lying. The other day, I was at the fire taking out the ash, and a little bit got up my nose and I smelt it, and my brain immediately went to Pompeii. I had a oh moment. It was so fascinating, and that was the first time a smell has triggered a past life experience. I don't know whether I was there as a person who was there when it happened, or whether I was an archaeologist many years later. I have no idea. I've not investigated that, but it was just a trigger for me. So I want you to start to be open to these triggers as they come through for you more and more. But apart from that, I've never had smells, fragrances, or tastes in a past life, but some people do. Some people taste the fresh water of the stream they're drinking from, or they smell the pine of the forest they're in, you know? So again, I'm sharing all of this because that's helping you open your mind to how the experience may be for you. Good. So in this experience, you're receiving information. So you're not trying to dig it out, you're allowing yourself to receive it. And so if you catch yourself in any moment trying too hard, I want you to say to yourself instead, I'm allowing myself to receive. So this is something I do with all my clients in these sessions. I want you to squeeze your fists as tightly as you can, and squeeze all your other muscles as well if you want, and say out loud, I'm trying as hard as I can. Good. And then notice how much you can or can't receive in that state. And then open your hands up and say, I'm allowing myself to receive. And notice how much more you can receive in this lovely state. And again, yawning is so normal when that happens. That's really, really good because there's a shift internally. So if I notice anyone trying too hard, or if I feel it, I'll just encourage you to relax and receive the information. And you'll get the information that you're supposed to. So let go of any conscious control, or oh, I should be thinking this or should get that. Some people will say to me in a session, I'll ask them a question and they'll say, oh, nothing's coming through yet. And great, I'll say, all right, it may come through now, it may come through in 30 seconds, it may come through next week, so allow. Great. Now, it's not like watching a film behind your eyelids. The information comes to you in surprising ways. Some people just have a sense or knowing what's going on. Some people, like I said already, will see things. Some people won't see anything. They'll just feel. So, or hear. So everyone's different. And it's really, really important for you to know there's time to analyze afterwards. So allow yourself to trust what comes through without getting tied up in analysis. So, as I said in that email, you might find yourself in, let's say, 18th century England as a wig maker, as I mentioned, and think to yourself, is this really the kind of wig I would have been making in the 18th century? I want you to just let go and say, okay, yeah, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. So I want you to avoid the temptation to fill in the blanks with the conscious mind as much as possible and allow what comes through to come through. So flow through the session. So I want you to repeat out loud after me. To get the most of my investment, I choose to go with the flow and analyze later. Good. And if big emotions come up, great. Hold space for them, allow them to come up and through you. It can happen very often that big things come up and through. And unlike the way we're often taught as children to not have those big tantrums and emotions, actually it's very, very cathartic to let them come up and through you and out of you, because that's how things can start to shift and transform. So if things come through, great, sit with them,